Okay, now, first of all, to start reviewing this episode, Spike at your service, I'd just like to point out that, all things considered, I think I've been pretty nice to this show so far. I mean, I said it was a lot better than I expected, and I already wasn't expecting it to be bad, and, yeah, I think it's, probably one of the best shows of its kind still airing in the present. But, yeah, this episode doesn't seem to want the same treatment, because, this episode was terrible. I mean, if you like it, that's cool. I mean, I'm not going to be like up in arms with, no, this episode should not get credit for. I mean, honestly, almost too far gone to even warrant that. But I mean, okay. Well, basically, why I'd say that, just my brief spin on this in a nutshell overall. Okay, what have we got here? The story is that Spike wanders into the Everfree Forest, and he's surrounded by the Timberwolves, bringing back those. And then Applejack intervenes, she saves him, so then he follows her home and says that because of his dragon code of honor, he owes her a life debt. So, okay, that's our excuse here, and they've never said anything about that before, a dragon code of honor. And I mean, you think back to what we've seen from the dragons, I mean, I don't know, unless it was under the part about the section about hazing baby dragons that just wander in, then okay, yeah, they just made this up out of nowhere. And then, but okay, Applejack, she doesn't feel comfortable with him doing her favors, but he insists he has to. Almost like won't leave until she thinks of chores for him to do. Yeah, saying has to do this forever, and and he messes everything up. Everything he does, it's a complete disaster. He makes a mess everywhere he goes. He can't do anything productively. Well, I mean, he can. Not that he doesn't get any of it done, but yeah, just like having him around is a giant pain, and yeah, that's supposed to be funny. And I mean, again, kind of out of nowhere, he seems like he's Twilight's assistant just fine. He actually gets a lot of chores done. Seems like he's pretty good at being helpful, and I mean, he doesn't even realize he's messing everything up. So yeah, he's oblivious to, and okay, I mean, we've seen a lot of stuff that points against him, sure, but yeah, never that. So okay, again, just kind of made it up so they could keep going down this route. So okay, yeah, that's the whole story. So basically, the entire setup is just an excuse for these hijinks. That yeah, Spike forces Applejack to let him do her chores, and he messes all of them up and makes everything worse. So yeah, that's basically why this episode exists. So okay, the only way I could picture liking that is if you just thought they were really fun hijinks. I mean, obviously, like I said, they're not hijinks that are what the characters do best or exploring them. But I mean, if you just thought, oh, this is really fun to watch, I'm glad I get to see my favorite characters just do a bucket load of nonsense like this for the past half hour. A great time watching Spike inflate Applejack like a balloon to help her breathe, or what? Just yeah, if you thought they were just really funny hijinks, and I didn't. I thought they were really forced, just really annoying. I mean, it's like they don't even really seem to try that hard. I mean, it's kind of like what Pinkie Pie did with Cranky the Donkey, forcing herself on him in these over-the-top ways. But I mean, at least Pinkie Pie has demonstrated that she might be inclined to act like that. I mean, even if it wasn't really funny there either, it was really forced. But I mean, at least the episode, thought it was doing what Pinkie Pie should be doing, and just yeah, like bringing lots of energy to her antics without realizing that there wasn't really a joke there. It was just her forcing herself on Cranky. But yeah, trying to put Spike in the same role. I mean, his humor, from what we've seen, is a lot more sort of sarcastic and just, I guess, laid back. So I mean, or like or adorable if it's supposed to be at his expense. But I mean, yeah, this is just he forces himself on Applejack. The episode doesn't even really seem to know what to do with that. It's just kind of forced. It's not really a joke there. So yeah, I just thought it was pretty annoying the whole time. And I mean, there's really not much more to say. I mean, yeah, a review. I mean, the only way I could really say, okay, let's run through review everything is just okay. Well, whatever. just, yeah, one event at a time. What did I think? Okay. Starts out, Twilight has a pile of books to read. Spike is helping her with the checklist on that. But yeah, she's going to be reading books all weekend because the princess gave her a big assignment. So he's free to go do what he does. And then the episode, it's like they're almost trying to think of things to do with Spike here. They start out deciding that he likes gross out boy antics, touching his nose with his tongue and playing bongos on his stomach and smelling his dirty feet, which he loves the smell of. I mean, that's, again, not really a joke. It's just kind of almost like, yeah, that's Spike. Don't you hate him? Or isn't he gross? I don't know. Okay, so that wasn't funny. And then he wanders into town. And I think I rewound this to make sure it was drawn this way. He runs over to a balloon that I guess, I forget, free hot air balloon rides or whatever, but he runs up to it. He runs into the pole it's tied to without being distracted or anything. Like he, I don't know, just went blind for a moment there, but okay, he runs into it. He accidentally jars loose the balloon, and then when he realizes what he's done, he chases it through town, and I mean, an energetic sequence here. He's like bouncing on rooftops and stuff to see if he can catch the balloon or the rope that it's tied to, but yeah, he lands himself in Big Mac's apple cart, and yeah, now he's careening out of control in that, and then he almost runs over Granny Smith, so he grabs the wheel with his claws, heat-proof claws, and yeah, forces himself to a stop, even though his claws are like going red hot, and then okay, he face plants just before he gets to Granny Smith and launches himself up and catches the balloon, so okay, that was a fun little sequence there, energetic, so that was fine. Then he's in the forest, he's surrounded by the Timberwolves, and okay, it's nice to see a little callback there. I mean, that was fine, and Applejack saves him by pelting rocks at them, breaking them up in a chase sequence too, so I mean, that's the most action you get this episode, so again, that's fine. The moment when it sinks in that Applejack has just saved his life, Spike, I mean, at first he'd say, well, that was so awesome, Applejack, but then he realizes what he just said, you saved my life, and his eyes go wide, and he just kind of, like, walks towards her in a daze and hugs her, and I mean, it was kind of a tender moment there. I mean, I almost wish they'd gone more that direction, but okay, yeah, second sequence, also a success, so, alright, but then we get to the, I don't know what second sequence that was, a success, that was three, but anyway, okay, then we get to the barn where he starts asking Applejack to assign him chores to do, saying that he has to repay her, and I mean, he gets at, you can already kind of see where they're going from here. He tries to carry a bucket of apples for her that he keeps dropping, and then she sends him off to help Apple Bloom wash a pig, which he knocks over the bucket, but no, he gets it done okay. He's excited to be helping out. Apple Bloom, glad that she gets to be done a little faster so she can get to her Cutie Mark Crusaders meetings, and Applejack. So I mean, that was whatever. That was fine. That was just the opening act here. Cause okay, then like Applejack starts realizing that Spike didn't just mean quick repayment, like how serious he's taking this. He's when she's like, okay, I reckon you have repaid me in full, and he's like, no, you need to let me assist you some more. He starts begging her, and then when she finally relents, lets him help make apple pies. He's in the kitchen. He's like, guys, I get to help with it, and yeah, he's just like spills something. Oops. He goes to pick up a mop. That he knocks over the bucket when he grabs it. He carries it over, knocks over a thing of flour. I mean, he's just like wandering out. I mean, there's not really any comedic timing there either. It's just like the episode. It's almost like it doesn't even care. It just it's like it's saying, yeah, see, isn't that Spike just a disaster? I mean, it's not really slapstick or a setup. I mean, he just wanders throughout the kitchen trying to do something, and then he knocks something else over. I mean, it's like no energy to it. It's just so basic. So okay, yeah. I mean, what's the joke that Spike's an idiot? I mean, it's almost like it doesn't know even how it wants to play it. Like they're just saying, okay, yeah, isn't Spike so useless or what? And it's like, not really. We haven't really seen that from him before. I mean, even in his least flattering interpretations, he was a good assistant. It's like it's like you didn't have any ideas, so you're just trying to wring comedy out of the closest thing to an excuse you can think of. But right, so yeah, there was that. He bakes the pie. It's a disaster. They do throw in a scene in between where he tries to go home to Twilight because Applejack says that they're going to need Twilight's permission first. He's still Twilight's dragon, technically, and he explains the situation. Twilight's wrapped up in her books, so she doesn't take any notice. She's just like, so he leaves, feeling a little let down by her, I guess, but he's happy he gets to follow his life end. So, I mean, that was whatever. That's just the excuse to make sure we have an excuse to keep going with this. But yeah, they bakes the terrible pie, takes it to Rarity, and she, after some prompting from Applejack, humors him, and I mean, of course, it's terrible, so who knew that was going to be the joke when they colored the pie gray, but, alright, so he sent to the kitchen to wash off a plate. Applejack starts explaining that, yeah, she feels like she's maybe taking advantage, or it just doesn't feel right, that he feels like he owes her something, even though, yeah, Rarity is keen on the idea of somebody helping her with everything she needs, but, yeah, and so is Rainbow Dash. Rainbow Dash flies by, asks what's going on, and when she hears, like, awesome, what are you having him do? Wash your laundry, do your chores? So, I mean, they're just, yeah, setting up the next scene while Spike wanders out of the kitchen, which he's now flooded. Yeah, he wants to rinse off a plate, and now he's flooded the kitchen, and, yeah, it's not, and again, it's not, like, played up with sound effects or slapstick or anything. You just turn to the left, he's flooded the whole kitchen, like the episode's saying, like, just... Yep, see, so we're still doing that joke, and I mean, I don't know, you just turn to it, it's like, yeah, episode, it is still unfunny, thanks for reminding us. In fact, it's almost getting worse there, because I mean, it's like, I don't know, it's almost like the self-fulfilling prophecy, like the episode is now trying to take it to even more of an extreme without actually making it more extreme, but more of an extreme that he can't do. He can't wash off a plate without flooding the kitchen. I mean, it's just like, do you realize you're making this up out of nowhere, right? So, again, pretty annoying, but continuing down the same road there. So, Rainbow Dash, the payoff to them talking, suggests setting up a giant rock tower, telling Spike that she wants to do an extreme stunt where Applejack was going to help her set up a giant rock tower, and then she would smash through it, so she tells Spike, okay, well, you have to do it instead, of course, if you're helping Applejack, so, okay, and she wants him to do something he can't do. I mean, these rocks are as big as he is, so setting up a giant tower of them, so she's so sure he's going to quit right away, and then, yeah, cut to the next scene, and he's finishing it up. He built this gigantic tower that's, like, tall as a building or whatever, that for Rainbow Dash to smash through, and then, yeah, she realized, oh yeah, she said that that's what she wanted it for, so now she has to smash through the giant rock tower, and she plows into that, like, knocks herself into a daze. She's lying on top of what's left of it, and, okay, that's a little bit funny, because it's an actual joke on the setup. Rainbow Dash thought she was gonna pull one over on Spike, but yeah, give him, get the best of him and his dragon code by coming up with something he couldn't do, but then he actually did, and now, oops, she has to fulfill her end of the bargain there, so, okay, that's an actual joke, and it was a little bit funny, and don't get used to it, because, yeah, then Fluttershy suggests just telling him, yeah, they don't need help with anything, Applejack doesn't need help with anything, so she tries that, and then he goes into an existential crisis, but like, wait, if I'm not helping you every single second, because he's more oblivious than ever now, how will I know I'm a noble dragon? What? Anyway, though, so, yeah, then he starts telling Applejack he'll help her with the stuff she doesn't even know she needs help with yet, and then he scratches her back for her, and then he starts singing her a song, claiming he's going to remind her of which song is her favorite, and, you know, help her with that, and then he says, oh wait, maybe you need help breathing, and he grabs a fire bellow and inflates her like a balloon, and, okay, yeah, at this point it's like they were completely out of material, and they just push Spike out onto the stage, so like, okay, do something, entertain them, like he's just scrambling for anything he can think of there, so, okay, yeah, now that's, okay, you come to realize just that sequence right there should be a sign of just how this episode was completely dropped. just had nothing. But, okay, so finally they go to Twilight for help, and once she actually takes in the story, she says, okay, the Dragon Code of Honor that we've never mentioned before is very serious. Spike will never stop unless he's repaid this life debt and so the only way is for him to save your life. So they make a little plan, and this very brief sequence is kind of funny where Pinkie Pie is the first one to think of a plan. She wants to shoot Applejack out of her party cannon at a beehive so Spike can catch her in a butterfly net at the last second, and then she can be the one who's trapped her there because it gives her an excuse to wear her evil mustache. So, okay. Funny little bit there, but, alright. And at this point, but then the actual plan is to stage a Timberwolf attack, and Applejack can pretend to get her hoof stuck, so Spike has to save her. And, okay, at this point, the episode needs the obligatory payoff, so at least we're done with the hijinks portion, thankfully. So, okay, they make a marionette Timberwolf. They do a terrible job, of course, and yeah, they act like they're running for it with terrible acting. And Rainbow Dash though does the roar and scares Fluttershy with how convincing it is. So I mean, I don't know. This sequence, I mean, at the same time, it's simultaneously kind of obvious, how of course the acting's going to be terrible and Spike's going to be falling for it at first. But I mean, just like the ways in which it's terrible. I mean, they make it seem like the gang is, to an extent, earnestly trying here, and but yeah, it's like their Spike showed up faster than they thought he would. So I mean, it's stupid, but it's entertainingly stupid. So okay, and then Spike catches on. The one thing that he does notice is that they forgot the Timberwolf's terrible breath. So he can't figure out it's a you can see the strings right there being held up with Twilight's magic, but he can notice the lack of bad breath. But okay, but then the actual Timberwolves wander out of the forest, having magicked themselves back together when Applejack broke them apart. Everyone runs for it. Applejack stays behind to shove a boulder onto them from what's left of Rainbow Dash's rock tower, and she succeeds, but at the cost of actually getting herself caught between two rocks, or her leg, caught between two rocks, and then the wolves just magic themselves back together into one giant wolf. So now Spike and Applejack are the only ones left in the area, and the episode is still not willing to admit that the Timberwolves are made of a substance that Spike made short work of exactly one episode ago. So why he kept, why he never even tried his fire breath, opting to put his arms in front of his face and just cringe is anyone's guess. But okay, Applejack tells him to run and save himself, but he instead grabs a pebble, chucks it down its throat, and the monster made of stick, spark, and magic dies from a lack of oxygen. But anyway, he pries Applejack loose, they get out of there. I mean, it was, I don't know, nothing special, kind of the whole thing kind of stupid there, but I mean, it was entertaining, so okay, fine. And very end portion gets, I guess, a pass, and then they take the theme here, which, if they'd explored this seriously, it might have made for a worthwhile episode, but yeah, Spike, instead of acting like he needed to feel noble all the time, he should have known that, it's when it counts, stepping up when it counts is what makes you noble, and then the others, instead of trying to manipulate him, they'd talked to him, I guess, sincerely. That would have, helped. But okay, Applejack and Spike, they vow to just do it more Applejack's way in the future. Applejack vows not to think of him as any less noble. Spike knows that, okay, they should try to avoid danger, but if they do, it'll just be what friends do for each other, and he's about to shake her hand or leg, I guess. She sticks her hoof out, and then he, realizes that he changes his mind. He makes a fist so he can do the hoof bump instead. So, okay, that was cute. But alright, so yeah, I mean, we've all seen this plot before. The nuisance character's life is saved, so they are forcing themselves on the hero, thinking one of the main characters, whatever, thinking they need to repay life debts, and then they need to save the other one's life back. I think the Powerpuff Girls did it, the Muppets did it once, and it's been done a lot. And it's, like I said, nuisance character doesn't get it, makes them it's an idiot character plot, and this is not an idiot character show. The main cast, they have their flaws, they have their funny moments, but they're not supposed to be like SpongeBob SquarePants idiots, and that's what this episode is trying to mold them into, so it can get away with this plot. And well, of course they're not, so it doesn't work. It's just, and it's not even done that well. It's just a bunch of unfunny sight gags and stuff with no setup that don't really even make much sense. So, okay, as far as I see anyway, just kind of a really dumb, unfunny episode. I don't know if I'd say it was my least favorite. I mean, well, I think One Bad Apple pretty much took the cake on that. But as far as just like the technicals go, just the sheer quality of the delivery, I would have to say that this was technically the worst episode so far. Well, which doesn't actually say all that much, considering I think, including this episode, I think I've only given about 5 episodes a thumbs down. So, yeah, whatever that says. But yeah, don't know if it was my least favorite, but it was probably the least well done. I mean, it was almost a shame too, because it was, for all the things that were bad ideas, it was kind of nice to see Applejack and Spike together. I mean, because he's always with Twilight or Rarity, so I mean, interacting with some of the other friends first and foremost for a change, it kind of made him feel more like part of the group, and it was just kind of refreshing to see. But yeah, they had their moments where they were like together and all. So I don't know. Yeah, more could have come from it, I guess, if it had just like thrown out the desire to reuse this of all plots. Yeah, say Newsom's character is trying to repay a life debt, but anyway, though. So I'm told that Rarity doesn't get an episode this season, and all the main characters so far, the only one left is Fluttershy, and the next episode is called Keep Calm and Flutter On. So we get to see how she reacts to the spotlight in season 3. So anyway, come back for that one.